Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam. Let's bet some NBA player props. So, recording this early on the morning of Saturday, December 31st. So, happy New Year's Eve, everybody. And let's get into it. So, all of these plays, of course, are found using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page, finding plays that have an edge over the sports books. Generally, an unfortunate reality of sports betting is that sports books have the edge over you. It's how they make their money. They charge up the juice a little bit of the odds themselves, and then they make sure they get a 50-50 payout on each side, and then they profit because they charge a percent to each side of the bets. So in order to be profitable, to make money sports betting, you need to find a way to gain the edge back over the sports books. And that's exactly what having a tool like OddsJam does. And we can get right into it. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here is Paul George over 23.5 points. This play is at minus 115 at BetMGM. So number one, let's chat about the math because that's the most important out of everything, the most important thing to understand and why the system is so profitable. Gives the no vig odds of this one, pricing them at about minus 125. And for those of you who have been tuning in to this OddsJam YouTube channel know this, but these odds, these no vig odds here, are pulled from the sharpest sports books in the world, the sports books that consistently do the best job at pricing odds. So OddsJam back tested thousands and thousands of betting opportunities to make this determination. So anywhere in which you see the no vig odds in all these columns here, these can be viewed as the true line, the perfect line of what a market should truly be priced at. So that in anywhere in which you can get more favorable odds, and by more favorable, it's to the sports bettor, so higher payout, it's going to be profitable over the course of time. So in this case, the sharpest sports books in the world, the sports books that consistently do the best job at pricing odds, price this to be at about minus 125 essentially. We're getting it a full 10 cents lower at minus 115 at BetMGM. So all in all, equating to a profit margin of about just below 4%, which is really good, 3.92%. And then what you want to do, so you can look at the math of a play and you'll know within 4 seconds that it's like all the information you need to know, right? Like no vig odds, EV percent, the odds of the bet that you are placing. But there is additional work that I recommend doing to make sure that you are placing the best of the best. And one of those is if you just highlight over and you see where it's highlighted blue. If you just click your mouse anywhere in which it's highlighted blue, it pulls up what we see here. And this is where every other sportsbook is pricing this over under of 23.5. So the goal of what we're trying to do here is just determine whether the odds of the bet that we are placing, if they're a true outlier compared to the rest of the betting markets or not. So this over 23.5 minus 115 at BetMGM, is that a true outlier compared to the other sports books? In this case, yeah, it is. Bet365 is close at minus 125, and it's still 10 cents higher, so not really that close. And then look at every other book. Caesars, minus 137. DraftKings, minus 145. And Pinnacle, minus 144. Pinnacle is, on average, the sharpest sports book in the world, so you definitely want to give Pinnacle the heaviest weight, but you still want to compare to the rest of the betting market as well. And as I said, this is truly an outlier. DraftKings minus 145, Caesars minus 137, and even like I said, Bet365 minus 125, still an outlier. So all in all, every other sportsbook prices it pretty decently above, meaning more favorable, more likely to occur than the BetMGM line, and that's exactly what we're looking for in the long run. Over the course of time, if you're betting on plays that are outliers like this, you will be profitable. Now, of course, you're not going to win every single bet, or you're not going to profit every single day, week, month. Like if you go to my, my history of using OddsJam, I actually had a really rough day yesterday. I was traveling. I wasn't able to bet a ton, but pretty much everything I bet lost as soon as this loads. And so yeah, yesterday for the week down a decent amount, right? Last week I was up a lot. This week I'm down a decent amount. That's kind of just how it goes with sports betting. You kind of have to take your lumps and understand that variance happens. There will be days that are up, there will be days that are down, but more often than not, you will be in the green and you will be profitable over the course of time. Like for me, my total profit is still over 17K over the year I've been using OddsJam, which is really good. So regardless, this is the first play, Paul George over 23.5 points. Next up, we are looking at Tyrese Halliburton, stud on the Pacers, to actually go under his assist total under 9.5. So this play is at plus 100 at Bet365. And the math behind it, right? The Novig odds price this at about essentially minus 107.5, giving us a profit margin of just about 3.6%. So a little bit lower than the previous one, but still really good at 3.6%. And then this is also a really good one because look at how every other sportsbook is pricing this play. So we're getting it for plus 100. That means even money. If you place 1,000 bets at plus 100 odds and you win exactly 50% of your bets, exactly 500, you will have broken even. If you win the majority of your bets, so 50.01% and above, you will be profitable. And if you look at where other sportsbooks price it, pretty much every other sportsbook favors the under of this play. And what I mean is they have the under as the more expensive play. So if we look at Pinnacle, which again is the sharpest sportsbook, they have the under priced at minus 133, the over priced at plus 100. They're heavily favoring this going under. So they're going to make it a little bit more expensive to buy. Same thing with BetOnline, another very sharp sportsbook. So Pinnacle is the sharpest. BetOnline is also very sharp. They have the under at minus 120, the over at minus 108, favoring the under. As does BetRivers, as does DraftKings, which is actually pretty sharp with player props, as does Caesars, as does BetMGM. FanDuel has it for 50-50. And taking up the actual bet that we are placing at Bet365, the only other book that actually has the over as the favorite outcome is PointsBet. Every other book either has it at, one of them has it at 50-50, which is FanDuel. Every other book favors it going under. And again, we're getting this at plus 100 odds. So that's making this one a really, really good price on the Tyrese Halliburton under 9.5 assists. And that's another reason why you want to make sure you look into every single market, because you can find examples like this where we're getting a play for plus money that every other book favors. Every other book says this is actually the more likely scenario. So that's the second one, Tyrese Halliburton under 9.5 assists. The next one that I wanted to lock in here, Gordon Hayward, excuse me, under 3.5 assists at minus 145 odds. Sorry, got a little ahead of myself. Gordon Hayward under 3.5 assists, minus 145 odds at PointsBet. So this bet, you know, it's the positive EV one for all of these. It's bolded. It's got the highlight around it. The Novig odds price this at about just below minus 148. So again, a smaller gap between the OddsJam perfect line and the bet that we are placing, but still good just because the smaller the gap just means the smaller the gap between where the sharpest sportsbooks in the world price it and the bet that we are placing. It doesn't mean that it's inherently a worse bet. So even these plays on the lower EV percent, like this one's at 0.8%, can still be profitable. You just need to look into them as well. So the ones at the top you want to look into, just like the ones at the bottom. I don't just blankly not bet anything because it's got a lower percent. I still look into it to see if it's good or not. And this one is good. So minus 145 at PointsBet. BetRivers is the only book that's close at minus 152, 7 cents higher. Then we have FanDuel at minus 162, 17 cents higher. And then look across the board at every other sportsbook. Pinnacle at minus 189. What's this? 45, basically 44 cents higher. BetOnline at minus 175, 34 cents higher, as does DraftKings, Bet365. And then BetMGM has it all the way up at minus 185. So still getting a really good price at this minus 145 at PointsBet. And I know that people are going to say, why would you want to bet something with such a low payout like minus 145? And the answer is, it's all about the odds reflective to the rest of the market. So I won't just ignore anything that's minus 145, just like I won't ignore anything that's plus 130, just because I also get a lot of questions. Oh, well, if it's plus money, that means it's not likely to hit. So why would I want to bet it? And again, it's all about the odds that you are placing compared to the rest of the market. And in this case, the minus 145, it's a pretty good price compared to the rest of the market, as I just went over. So that makes this still a pretty good bet to place. So this is going to be my third pick for this video, Gordon Hayward under 3.5 assists. And the last one is this plus 131 that I was just referencing, LaMelo Ball under 6.5 assists, plus 130 at Bet365. So again, the Novig odds price this at about plus 120, basically plus 127.5. We are getting it at plus 130 at Bet365. And same thing here. Look at the rest of the sportsbooks. Pinnacle, plus 116. BetOnline, plus 115. And every other book actually has it even below them, meaning more favorable to occur than them. Plus 110 at Fox Bet and DraftKings and Caesars, and then plus 105 at BetMGM. Now, of course, we give the heaviest weight to BetOnline and Pinnacle, and then a little bit to DraftKings as well. But the fact that the closest book is Pinnacle at 14 cents lower is the reason why this is a good play, making this my fourth and final NBA player prop for today. So if you're tailing any and all four of these, comment, let me know. We'd love to hear it. Other than that, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel, all that good stuff, and have a good one.